What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, here we have an interesting take by Hall of Fame, legendary, retired former boxer, Sugar Shane Mosley, superstar icon in the sport of boxing. Shane Mosley did an interview that was brought to my attention. Shouts out to my brother Boss Red 357 for this. This was brought to my attention. Shane Mosley did an interview in which Shane Mosley was discussing the situation and the event that took place when he took on Antonio Margarito. Now, Antonio Margarito, if you don't know the backstory, he fought Miguel Cotto the fight before he fought Shane Mosley. Miguel Cotto was undefeated going into that fight with Antonio Margarito. Miguel Cotto was the favorite going into that fight. He was seen as the better fighter. Miguel Cotto in the first half of that fight dominated the fight. But in Margarito's fashion, okay, in the second half of the fight, Antonio Margarito, he started to come on as he normally does in all his fights. And he started to bust up Miguel Cotto, okay? Miguel Cotto is a legend in the sport of boxing, multi-division world champion and Hall of Famer in his own right. And after the fight, Miguel Cotto ended up taking a knee in the fight, and Miguel Cotto, he essentially said no mas. And after the fight, Miguel Cotto, he said it felt like something was in Antonio Margarito's hand wraps, okay? It felt like he had a brick in there, is what Miguel Cotto was saying. And everybody was saying Miguel Cotto was just being a sore loser. Everybody was saying he was being a diva. Okay? So with that said, he lost the fight. And immediately following after the fight, then the very next fight, Margarito fights Shane Mosley. Shane Mosley, huge underdog. 7-1 underdog, Shane Mosley was. And as the fight got closer, eventually it got down to 4-1 underdog. Shane Mosley, he stated he knew he was going to beat Margarito because of the style. He was used to seeing that style. With that said, a chain of events took place right before the fight. What does this have to do with legendary situation that took place? Because this is legendary now. Between former Olympic bronze medalist, former WBC American heavyweight world champion, superstar boxer Deontay the Bronx Bomber Wilder, and undefeated two-time world champion heavyweight superstar boxer from Britain, the UK, Tyson the Gypsy King Fury. They're going into their highly anticipated trilogy match, July 24th. With that stated, Deontay Wilder allegedly, well, he made claims that he felt as if Tyson Fury, he had something in his glove that caused an injury that was abnormal. Okay, as you can see on photos in the past video I did, on the left side of Deontay Wilder's head, you can see a dent in the left side of Deontay Wilder's head. Abnormal for a guy who only has a total of 4 knockouts. He has 21 knockouts according to BoxRec, but they lump everything together: TKOs, stoppage victories, knockouts. They're slow lumped together. So he has a total of 4 knockouts. The rest of the stoppages, accumulation, overwhelming his opponents. Okay, very big guy, 6'9", 273 pounds in his fight with Deontay Wilder. Okay, but with that said, this is very important because everybody dismisses Deontay Wilder's claims because they said, well, no, the Boxing Commission would have caught that. It's not possible because the Boxing Commission would have caught that. Well, in an interview Shane Mosley did discussing what took place, the chain of events. Now we're going to rewind to the chain of events that Shane Mosley stated. He stated that when his team went into Antonio Margarito's dressing room, as we know, it's historic. He got caught with using plaster on his hand wraps. But as Shane Mosley puts it, he goes into detail, okay? And Shane Mosley, he states that in this chain of events, he says that it's easy to get away with because he layered it as the knuckle pattern, not the entire wrap. So he says he layered it as the knuckle wrapping, not the entire wrap. Okay, so he says now the boxing commission comes in. He said he wrapped it here as the knuckle layer, and then he covered it again with the gauze and the tape, and then go around the whole wrist and the palm, so on and such, in between the fingers. But he didn't wrap the whole entire wrap with padding. You understand? He only put it on the knuckles. So he says it's easy to get away with because the boxing commission is not going to pay attention. They're going to come in, they're going to touch it as long as it feels up to par. They're going to sign off for it and walk away. So what Shane Mosley said is that the wrap in itself feels like a cast. So if there was an object there, especially in his situation, there was plaster, so it's wet, right? It's soft, okay? It starts to harden over time. But unfortunately for Antonio Margarito, it started to harden quick enough for the late, great, legendary, iconic, well-renowned trainer, Naseem Richardson, who trained Shane Mosley, okay? Naseem Richardson, he trained Shane Mosley, okay? And brother Naseem Richardson, he grabbed the wrap, and Shane Mosley said when he squeezed it, the dust from the plaster started to already form. So when he squeezed it a little bit, it started to fall out. So he says that he said that Naseem Richardson stated, "Wow, what is that?" Here's where it gets real important. He says that Naseem Richardson took the wraps, and the boxing commission tried to take the wraps from him, and he refused to give them the wraps because he wanted to make sure that they were not in on this situation, allegedly, right? He said he wanted to make sure that his team, his lawyer, and his doctor knew what was taking place. He did not even trust the boxing commission to do the right thing. Why is that important? Because people love to say that it would never get past the boxing commission. They would never allow this to take place. It's almost impossible today's time to do these things. Well, we know what took place with Luis Resto, Panama Lewis situation. No padding in the knuckle area, okay? They took all the padding out the glove, and we understand what took place, that chain of events, okay? Now, you fast forward, everybody says, well, that was in the 80s, okay? This is 2020 and the 2020s. And that's not possible because the boxing commission paid very close attention. Well, Shane Mosley lets it be known in this situation, in this case with Antonio Margarito, the boxing commission was not doing their job. He says that they will overlook it. They will just come. They will just feel it, and they will just sign off on it. They will not pay that close attention to detail, so these things can happen as long as it goes with, in the flow of what takes place. So what he said was he layered the knuckle area with the plaster, and it would allow it to harden over time. Okay, he says that with the sweat from his glove, with the sweat from the fight and the sweat and the water and things of that nature, it would have had hardened quicker in enough time that it would have been plaster, okay? He said that was very, very dangerous. But what he said was, what's important is that the boxing commission wanted the wraps, and Naseem Richardson refused to give them the wraps. He took the wraps with him. He kept the wraps. He showed the lawyers. He showed the doctors of Shane Mosley, not the boxing commission. That's important. Not the boxing commission. Their team, lawyers, and doctors to make sure they understood what was taking place. This is what Shane Mosley had to say. Okay? He said that brother Naseem Richardson, he kept the wraps. He refused. Not even the boxing commission he would give them to, because he didn't trust that they would do the right thing. And he wanted to make sure that his lawyers and his doctors knew what was taking place. Why? If you can trust the boxing commission to do their due diligence, and you can trust the boxing commission to go through everything with a fine-tooth comb to make sure everything's on the up and up, well, then how would O'Shaquie Foster and his fight with Miguel Roman, the last fight, they sent Miguel Roman a brand new pair of gloves that had no padding in the knuckle area, and guess who caught it? Not the boxing commission, O'Shaquie Foster manager and trainers. Boxing commission had already approved of the gloves. If they didn't catch it, he would have wore gloves with, guess what? No padding in the knuckle area. And as you can see in the Tyson Fury fight with Deontay Wilder in the second fight, There is no. It looks like a deflated flat tire. Clearly, there's something wrong. There's no padding in the knuckle area. Clear as that. Okay, so let's listen to what Shane Mosley had to say regarding this situation.
Wraps, they check it off, and nobody knows. He takes it off, he cuts it off, and that's it. Yeah. So, you know, it was my coach. Nazim Richardson. He took the pad and he did this. He said, like, what's that falling off here? Yeah. He called commission. So no, I'm taking this with me. So he took it with it. He wouldn't even get back to the commission to make sure that the doctor and everybody, the lawyer, knew that this was happening. Yeah.
So if you could put trust in the boxing commission, then why did Shane Mosley feel and Nazim Richardson feel like he wouldn't even give it to the boxing commission to assure his team and his lawyer and his doctor what was going on? Because, just maybe, something could slip through the cracks. So, brother Nazim Richardson, who was educated within the sport of boxing, didn't even trust the boxing commission. Thus, the reason why he kept the wraps with himself. So, for everybody that says that the boxing commission would not have allowed Tyson Fury to have gloves with no padding in the knuckle area, or would not have allowed Tyson Fury, to be able to, do anything or bend the rules. Well, here you have it. Legends in the sport of boxing, right? They didn't even trust that the boxing commission would do the right thing in a situation where they clearly knew that everybody was informed. And you clearly know that it was plaster there. They still didn't trust them to do the right thing. So brother Nazim Richardson, he kept it close to his side when that happened. And then Shane Mosley, he ended up going in the fight. Antonio Margarito looked like a shell of himself. He ended up getting knocked out brutally and never was the same after that. But yet, just keep in mind, I want y'all to keep this in mind, okay? Shane Mosley, I'm going to give you some proof here, just how things are working within the sport of boxing, okay? So to say these things don't take place, the safety and the betterment of the fighters should be what's important, okay? That should be ultimately what's important. Shane Mosley and Antonio Margarito, they fought in 2009, okay? So that's when Shane Mosley, that situation took place where Shane Mosley caught him and brother Nazim caught him, 2009, okay? He was suspended for a year. He came back, he fought Roberto Garcia, okay? And then he got the biggest fight of his career, the biggest lucrative fight of his career in 2010, November 2010 against Manny Pacquiao. So even though he was caught in 2009 using plaster in his gloves, he still got not one, but he still got 6 more fights, 2 lucrative fights, a rematch with Miguel Cotto, and a Manny Pacquiao fight, which was the biggest fight of his career, after he was caught putting plaster on his hand wraps. That's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
Hi, my name is Heather the Heat Hardy, and you're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.